Good early start to the day. Got a feeling it's going to be a hot one today, so getting down this valley as fast as I can whilst I'm in the trees. Once the sun hits, it gets hot down there. Right, on I go. Well, heading down there today. It's good flow in the river. More flow than I thought there would be, actually, so that's good. I was planning on crossing this river perhaps later today, but no, maybe not. Right, I'll head down the valley before the sun hits it. Well, my bridge is still doing good. Built this one about 3-4 years ago, but still looking pretty good. We've got another tree down across there. Yeah, there's more water flowing through here than I anticipated, that's for sure. Alright, let's get across this one. There we go. Yeah, they actually stay pretty good. Quite pleased with that. These ones here, these are 14 foot. A bit wobbly. This one, this side one, something to do with tying in a bit more. I did add that one. Originally it was just 2 logs, these two. But it's, and then I found this one halfway down that slope there one year and cut it up. It's been there about 3-4 years. It's doing pretty good. Looks like it gets a fair amount of traffic across there too, because it wore all the bark off it. That's good, that's why I built it. It was a lot better than the crossing that was down there, because that was a really dangerous crossing. This one has stayed good. Very pleased. Yeah. If I come back this way today, I might tie these, just use a bit of a tie on here, dig out some of this mud on here too, because this mud will start the logs rocking pretty bad. Yeah. Might have to tie them in later. We'll see. See if I come back this way. Not sure if I'm going to come back this way. Now, there's several ways you can go here. Most people tend to stay down by the river. I'm not. I'm going this way. Yeah. This piece of wood here actually is the top offcut of those first 2 logs. Now I found a down tree in here and decided it would make a good bridge. So I'm heading this way. I sometimes cross there if I've got my welly boots on. That way is just a deer trail that goes nowhere. But where I'm heading is up here. This trail up through here that I'm about to go and have a look at, make sure there's no deadfall on it, is a very old trail actually. Before the road was built, this was actually one of the pack horse trails up through here. Way before the road was built. Right. Yeah. So this piece along here, a little bit of brush along here, I'm just going to clean that out. And then I'll head up the hill. Right. On I go. Well, this old trail's not too bad. Like I say, this is an old pack horse trail. Doesn't get used much. Bottom corner, that sun's starting to come up on the hills. The bottom corner where I just came round, which was down that way, it was quite overgrown. I cleared all that out about 3-4 years ago, but the alder had grown back up. I woke up this morning and thought to myself, where am I going to go today, self? And for whatever reason, this trail popped into my mind. And I thought, I haven't been up here for a while. So I shall go up here, and there is a loop. I can turn it into a loop, depending on how much energy I have at the end, because it's a very steep uphill bit at the other end of this. So I will see when I get there. But failing that, I can just come back down this way. Yes, I will head up here and see how bad it is. Well, that was a bit of a big one across the trail. Pain in the arse at its location, because everything was sliding downhill. So what I've done is I've cut that one out. It's reasonably big, it's only a big 6 inches, 5-6 inches, I don't know. Yeah, cut that off of there. I'd like to cut it further back up this way though. What I do with trees like that is I cut them, then lay them down the bank like this, where the all the debris and crap will naturally fall down there and lean up against that, and that actually reinforces the side of the trail. So it's not a bad thing to do. Right, so I came that way, and I'm going that way. That was a heavy one to move first thing in the morning. Right, on I go. You can tell I haven't been up here for a while. Keep seeing loads of trees that I've cut in the past. But there's loads of these small, these are what I call duck unders. Because you can't quite go under, and you can't quite go over. So I reckon if I cut that one there, I might better push the rest of it down through there. Means I have to cut it once. Nice. Right, let me get on with that. Right. 3 or 4 in this section. I tried to push this one. I cut it once. Tried to push it, but at the end of it was all tangled up in there. So, oh well, cut it twice. It's off the trail now, so that's good. Right, when I go to the next one, I suspect. Well, I didn't have to go far to find the next one. 100 metres. There it is. That's why I didn't put my saw away. I cut this one out, this other big one, the other side of it, about 2 or 3 years ago, I guess. But right, that I should be able to push. So let me cut that one once and push it off trail. So I have stopped for a photography break, aka catch me breath, because this is a bloody steep hill. But I'm still on the shady side, which is why I've come around this way. Nice up over there, eh? Where I have to go is straight up that hill. Not quite so nice, but I can tell you now, the view at the top is well worth it. Right, on I go. Going to do another photography break. I'm only about 100 metres up the hill further than the last one. Oh dear, this bit's steep. Who's that down there bloody shooting? You're not allowed to shoot down in here. There were some people, I think, camping down the other side of those trees down there. I'll check that out on the way back. You're not allowed to shoot up in here. Done, finished. Right, we've got very busy trails down the bottom of here, and we've got some bloody idiots in there shooting. Completely illegal. We'll call it in the parks. I'm sure they'll be on that pretty quick. Do not need people. There's trails all over this area. We've got idiots down in here shooting off rounds. Completely illegal. It's supposed to be well off the road. I know where they are, and they are almost adjacent to the road. This whole group of them down in there. They're camping down in there. I guess they think it's a good idea. First off, you're not allowed to camp there. You've got to be a kilometre off the road. So they're illegally camped anyway. And now they're discharging a firearm in a bloody park. Yeah, right. So we will call that in when we get back. And go from there. I'm sure if parks hear it, they'll be all over it anyway. They do monitor it up in here for poachers and what have you. So, right. I still have a fair way to go. And the sun's about to break this hill. So I need to get over this hill. Right, on I go. Well, my plan for getting up here before the sun got me, only just, literally, the sun has just broke this hill. I just saw a white truck pulling down the road there. And I can't hear any more gunshots. Amazing, eh? Yeah. There's trails all over these mountains. There's people everywhere in these mountains. On a weekend like today, with the sun out, there will be people everywhere. Discharging a firearm out here, no excuse at all. Sounds like they were doing target practice. They were shooting at something. So I'm making a bit of noise here because this is prime bear habitat up through here. There's a water source up over that way. There's a big old dead tree through there, and there's a water source. There's also a lot more mosquitoes now. The sun's come out. Right, I'm going to head along here, and then up over that way there's another hill that I want to get to. Right, let's get out of this big meadow before the mosquitoes eat me alive. Yeah, I won't need to walk down, they'll be able to carry me down. Right, on I go. Oh, that's Bryce. The view from the top is amazing. Look at that. Bit of a slog to get up here. Yeah. The trail back down the mountain is that way. I think I can hear other voices. Human voice travels for miles. Now sometimes you get up here early in the morning You can see all the wild horses down here. Can't see any today. That valley over there is one I like to be down, and up over there, this is all forget-me-not ridge and all that lot along there. Yeah. Yes, can't see any wild horses today. Quite often you'll see them grazing on the hills early in the morning. Yeah, but I am stopping on the only log that there is to sit on. There's a pile of rocks over there. I have sat there before, but that's in the sun. So I'm going to sit here in the shade. Move my hat up a bit. I'm going to sit here in the shade. There we go. Just enjoy that view. Isn't that nice, eh? Yeah, right. I need something to eat after walking all the way up there. That's for sure. Right, let me get something to eat, and I'll do some more in a bit. So, I have decided it's some kind of food o'clock, and anybody that knows me will know what kind of food that is. Sausage rolls. Oh, that's good. This area here is called Mustang Hills, because of all the wild horses, and I can't see a single solitary wild horse now. They're pretty shy, you don't tend to see them much. They're here. Lots of horse crap, that's for sure. Banded Peak Mountains over there. Forget-me-nots here. Hyperion Pans, that one behind me. Forget-me-nots a good hike, but today it's going to be a bloody hot one, which is why I set off early this morning. So, my plan is, and just come up that side, which is roughly north-ish, then head back down this side, which will take me all the way back to the Elbow Rivers down the bottom of here. So that will take me right down to the Elbow, and if I turn left and follow the Elbow downstream, hopefully it should take me back to where I parked. And I might, if I'm lucky, bump into some horses. But I've only ever been up here a couple of times and seen horses. They tend to hear you. They don't want to have too much to do with people. That is very good food for being out in the mountains. A lot of people buy these mountain meals and all the rest of it, 15 to 20 bucks a pop. They're expensive for what they are, and with a lot of salt in them too. I don't like all the salt. I mean, if you're working hard in the mountains and you're sweating a huge amount, yes, you need the salt, have at it. These have got salt in, and they also have all kinds of yumminess in them. These are full of yumminess. No idea what it is, but it's very yummy. Yep. And you can have these hot or cold. And I find if I eat one of these, I'm just ready to go for the next 2 or 3 hours easy. Yeah, and I only need one. Yeah, and they're small, they're light, easy to carry. They taste way better on a campfire, I can tell you that much. However, yeah, don't need a campfire at the moment, it's nice and warm. Now, if this weather keeps up all day, somewhere that I normally go that I can't go unless the roads are dry, because trust me, that gets wet down in there. But my little car won't go down in there if it's wet. So if this sun keeps up all day today, I might head down there tomorrow, so I might do a different video tomorrow. Cleared off about 20 bloody trees to get up here. But the old horse pack trail from the bottom of this one, heading basically east, that's all cleared out. Yeah. Before they built the roads and that up through here, the horse traders and the packers and stuff would come up through areas like this, and there's Banded Peak over there. You can go either way around that range of mountains. You've got Banded, Cornwall, Glasgow. You can go left or right around there and it'll take you to the same place. But it's that's where the old traders used to go and come out by what is Elbow Lake, I guess, and then down into the valleys that way. That was one of the main routes through the mountains, that was, because it's, believe it or not, it's actually one of the easiest routes. It's actually not bad. If you're going on horses and what have you, that's actually not bad. But that old trail that I just cleared out is a very old trail. Yeah, been there since people first started exploring up through this way, long before there was any roads, that's for sure. Yeah. Right. See a lot of mosquitoes, but no horses. That ridge along there will be popular today. That'll be full of people today. Always remember, once you've eaten food, drink some water. It's very hard for your body to break down food with no water. Yep. Oh. Right, let me just show you around here. Right, so over that way, that's all Prairie Mountain, Moose Mountain. Moose Mountain's the one right behind it, and right on top, I don't know if you can actually see it because some idiot's got his finger in the way. The right up on top of the mountain over there, you'll see a little square thing. That is Fire Lookout. Yeah, and just so you know, I mean, they are private residents. That people do live there all summer, so that is their house. So it is not open to the public. So if you go up there, there are signs up there basically saying, you know, please respect it and all the rest of it, and please do, because that is somebody's house. They live up there all summer, do an amazing job of a fire watch. That one up there, I mean, they got such an amazing view all the way down that valley down. If you follow all the way down through that way, if you keep going that way, that'll take you down to where I was earlier in the year and the year before, up All Smoke Mountain. And there's a place over there that I shall probably head to tomorrow if the sun stays good and we don't get any rain tonight. I will see if I can get out that way. So right, so my trip off the top of this hill is, let's make sure I left nothing behind. Water, everything's good. Right, I have done videos from over here before now. Somebody had a big campfire in here once, and they've now turned it into a rock pile, which is much better than a campfire. You don't need a big campfire on top of a hill like this, for God's sake. Yeah, sat on this rock a few times. Now, to get back down to where I was, there's a really good trail that way. If you go into the trees and just follow it down, it will take you all the way down. Or if you're feeling a bit more bushwhacky, you can just head straight down through the forest this way, literally straight down through there. That'll take you back to the way I just came up the mountain. Now, to get off of this mountain, get off of here, Mustang Hills, you need to go across here. And where I'm going to head is down this way, up over the top of that hill over there, down that ridge that you can see, through that gap roughly in the corner, and then it gets really steep and drops down to the river. The Elbow River's down in the bottom of there, drops down to the Elbow River, and then I shall get down to the river and head downstream, and hopefully don't have to do too much bushwhacking, because there's no proper trail down through there. There is a number. I'll put the number up on the screen if I remember to look it up. I can't remember what the number is. I think it might be 26 something. Yeah, so I'll have a look, see what I can find. But until then, I will get off this top of the hill. One last look around. Left nothing behind. And I'm heading down this one and through that gap in the corner over there. Right, on I go. Gotta stop a second and just soak that view in, eh? Yeah. So yeah, this is Forget Me Not, this mountain ridge along here. You can go all that, follow that ridge all the way down, and it'll take you off down to the Sheep River Valley. That one over there with a stripe on the top, that's Banded Peak, and then you've got Outlaw, Cornwall. Glasgow's just the other side of there. You can't quite see all of Glasgow from here, but that lot over there, I was talking to Rob Walker there the other day on one of the photo pages, and that locally is referred to as the Big Four. A lot of people like to do all the ridges along there because you can actually go up one side and all the way along and down the other side. Yeah, a lot of the diehards like to do that. I don't. I prefer to be in the trees. I can wander around these forests all day long. If somebody said to me, okay, you've got to stop right there, right at that point there tonight, you've got to spend the night there, no problem, I've got everything I need. So if you're up on the top of that rock, that's a very different story. Right, when I go down that way. Right, as I was saying, some of this trail is open, some of it's forest. As you can see, we've had horses through here very recently. These are wild horses, that's not domestic. Tell what the tracks. Some of this is forest, which is very nice. It all used to be forest, always looked like this. And they harvested it like 50 to 100 years kind of thing. And there was a big hoo-ha the other year. Oh my god, they're cutting the forests and all this kind of good stuff. But if you don't cut it, as I say in every one of my videos, it is grown as a crop. It's like ground potatoes, it just takes longer to grow. But if you don't cut it, then it becomes a problem. If you look at this forest, I mean, it looks like an amazing natural forest. It is not. This is all replant. Every single bit of what you see up here is all replant. But the reason it looks so amazing is because all the trees are pretty much the same age. They're all spaced out nicely. They're not all planted in millions of rows like a lot of forestry is. It's left to pretty much do its thing. And as you can see, its thing is very nice. Yeah. So you can't get much better than this. Look at this. So all those pieces that were cut 10-15 years from now will all look pretty much like these small trees in here, because they grow reasonably quickish. Yeah. And then because there's good soil in here, and there's lots of tree roots and biomass. So, yes, very important to manage the forest. Right, on I go. So here I am on top of the other hill. That's where I was just now, that hill over there. And that all along there, that's all powder face. That'll be really busy today. The Elbow River is down in the bottom there. You can see the scar it cut out in the 2013 floods. That's how wide that river was. All that grey you see down there, that's how wide the river was in the 2013 floods. And if you look very closely, you can see a tiny little blue line. That's how big it is now. I just heard a cow mooing down the valley, down that way somewhere, so we might have some cows down there. Right, let's go see what I can find. Right, it's amazing, you just come down through the trees. I'm only halfway down the ridge, and I can hear the river already down the bottom here. Yeah, that valley down through there, if you come along, you cross over that way, over there, walk all the way along the forest, the other side of the river, or you can cut across here, wherever you want. You can actually, there's a place down here, Cobble Flats, you can cut across the river there. And then head down that valley, down over there. There's some good exploring down there, there's some old abandoned campgrounds. The only thing I find with down that way, you tend to get a lot of the people with the quads and all that, because that goes off down the back of McLean Creek and all that. So that tends to be a little noisier down there. It looks remote, but it actually tends to be a bit noisier down there. Everybody's out and about on their mountain bikes and quads and off-road motorbikes and all kinds of stuff down there, which is all perfectly legal. That is an off-road area down through there, and it goes for miles and miles off up over that side. So yeah, so that tends to be a bit noisier down through there. I don't tend to go that way too much. I tend to head more down over there because the guys on the quads can't get there. Right, just having a quick look around the valley here. Like I say, every time you come out into a clearing, always make sure it is clear, and which it is. Make lots of noise. Still trying to find you some horses for the video, but can't find any. All I found is big piles of crap so far. So right, on I go, see what I find. Now, one thing I think that is worth a mention, it's just going to be a quick mention, is prior to them cutting all the trees, you come down through it, you didn't have that view. You get tiny little glimpses of it at the middle of nowhere. But now we have this amazing view. Yeah, and all of this down in here, I can see young trees in here already. All of this will regrow. Nice, isn't it? Right, on I go down the hill. Right, just give you some bearings. That's Banded Peak over there. That green hill up over there, that's where I was just now, where I stopped for a sandwich, a sausage roll. Come down there, down over this one. That shiny bit down the bottom there, that is my river. That's where I'm heading down to. I'm going to follow it left, downhill. Basically follow the water downstream. Right, here I am down the bottom. As you can see, lots and lots of horse crap. Now the way up that mountain is up through there. There is some flagging here. Somebody's put some markers on the trees there. You basically follow this up. It is very steep for the first piece. A few hundred meters. It's very steep, maybe 200-300 meters. It's very steep. Now I'm back in the bottom of the river valley, and this is where I'm likely, if anywhere, this is where I'm likely to have an encounter with their big fuzzy friends with the murder mittens. So the down through here. Wait, we can rise and shine. The river is basically straight ahead of me, and that's not where I want to go. I want to turn left here in a minute, which is exactly what I'm going to do. Just going to get to about, this looks familiar. Yes, it is. Yeah. Right. If you go follow the trail back that way, that will take you back to Cobble Flats. If you go that way, it will take you up over Mustang Hills. There is a little blaze on the tree there. Somebody's put a nice blaze on the tree there. So I'm just going to pile up these little rocks, and the way I'm going back is that way. That's following the stream down. That's following the river downstream. That is. I'm going to go back that way. Anybody that's thinking of doing this route, I have to say, I've done this route clockwise many times, and going up that first steep bit of hill is a real pain in the ass. Get off, mosquito. But doing it anti-clockwise is actually good. I'll tell you what, it's way easier. Well, as you get older, it's way easier on the legs, that's for sure. Now this piece down through here is basically just following this in that direction. There is no trail, there is no what's name. There are lots of bloody mosquitoes though. Holy crap, Batman. I'm gonna have to break out the bug spray again. Right, let me just reapply some bug spray before I vanish in a pile of bones, and I'll get back to this in navigation pointers. Basically, as long as you keep this piece of the mountain on your left hand side and don't stray too far away from the base of it, because all up through this big flat area you'll find loads of places like this, lots of them. These are all just like side pieces off of the river here, so you've got to be careful not to find yourself the other side of one of those, otherwise you have to walk across the river, and it's really easy to do. Been there, done it. Yeah, so basically you come down here. This isn't the main river, this is just a little side chute. The main river's over that way. So mountains there, the one you just come down, that's up there, and you're going to kind of go that way. We want to start swinging around the corner and heading down the valley that way. You'll see what I mean in a minute, and then we've got to go up. Right, you'll know you've got it right at the far end of that area when you still have dry feet. You've stayed to that side, and now we're blessed with some really nice views of the actual river. Yeah. Now it doesn't take much. I have crossed here before now. Got to be careful because near this bank on this side it is deeper than it looks, but you can get in across there. There's some shallow pieces across there, and you can make your way out onto these islands here. These islands were formed in 2013. See all these trees on here, and see how quickly nature takes it back. When I came up here just after the floods, that was literally stripped clean. It was just bare rock, and now look, nature's covering it all in trees again. Absolutely amazing, isn't it? It always looks devastating, but I can assure you it's not. Nature rebuilds and rebuilds fast. Yeah, isn't that nice though? Right, now what isn't nice is down through these trees where you can't quite see is a big bit of up, and it goes right up a big cliff face. I'll show you that when I get there. So I've just come that way. There's the main river. Now that big chalky cliff that you can see in front of you, prior to the floods the trail actually went around the bottom of there, and you can see I have big cliffs on this side, which means you don't have a lot of view of what's around you. And this is a bit of a wildlife pinch point, so their murder mitten buddies could be here. There's certainly cats around this area, I know there is. But if I make enough noise the cats will bugger off. You won't see a cat. I've only ever seen 2 cougars in my entire 30 years of wandering around these mountains. They see me. Well, don't get me wrong, they know I'm here, I just don't see them. Yeah. If there was a cougar up there you'd never know. Yeah. However, just along here somewhere you'll notice it's getting narrower and narrower and narrower, and just along here I have to start going up, so that's going to be a pain. because the last time I came along here there was kind of a trail. There is kind of not a trail now, so I have to work my way along this cliff edge. Right, because this is a cliff edge and I can't see what wildlife I have around me, I'm going to put this camera away until I get up the top. So I've just made my way along there. This is the bend in the river you're looking for. Yeah, it's a lot of down trees across there. That's where the cliff caved in the floods. Trail used to go along the bottom, like I say. Now what you have to do is follow it along, and you'll come to this point where it just starts going up, and you've got to go all the way up until you get to there. At the top of there, there's actually a reasonable-ish trail. You just got to get to it first, and this piece is rough. Yeah, right, up I go. Finally slogged up the hill, down in that bottom corner where the white water comes round. That's where the trail starts to climb, and then just basically climbs up the bank. Just follow it. It turns into a fairly reasonable trail at the top there. There is one steep piece, but it's easy to follow, you can't miss it. Yeah. Right, I'm going to go around to another nice spot I know, and I'm going to sit and have my other sausage roll. Well, I've arrived at the corner that used to have a lot of trees on it, and it looks like we had a bit of a windstorm. So I'll show you. Watch this cliff because it's very crumbly. Yeah. There wasn't many trees on this corner as it was. It looks like the wind got them. There's a lot less now. Look at all that lot all blown over. Yeah. Oh dear. That lot came down with a bang. That's for sure. Well, that kind of sucks. There wasn't many trees here in the first place, but oh well. Not a lot you can do. It's what nature does. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm not clearing that lot. So, this is back onto the old piece of trail. So I will follow this along and down the hill. Yeah, we lost quite a few there on that corner. I've cleared out trees up here before. You can see I've cut them off here before. You can go straight down that bank. There is a place that I know down there, but unless you're extremely very short footed, I wouldn't really recommend that. Yeah. So I wonder if we're going to be able to cut across to where the old down trail was. Because there was a piece here. It was actually a very nice down trail. I think this is it here. Yes. Yeah, you can wander your way down the rocks, and where I'm going to go is basically follow the river on down that way and into the bottom of the valley that you can see right in the distance over there. Right, down I go. Just come down the hill. There is kind of a trail here. There was this big tree across the bloody thing. I wasn't going to move it because of where it is. I didn't want this log rolling down here, but I had to cut it off. The reason I moved it is because if you walk down the other side of that tree, there's actually a big drop off over there, and it's kind of undercut. So it's safer to move it out of the way, keep it on the trail. Also makes a good trail marker so people can actually see that that's the way up. Right, and that's my way back down. Right, I'm back at the bottom of the trail, bottom of that big steep bit. The original trail came out through there and followed it around, and you can kind of go down there and along the rocks, but the water's up at the moment, so I wouldn't bother. But, the way you have to go now is up over the top where it came. The good news is this next piece along here is relatively flat. There's one rock slide area, well actually two rock slide areas that I've got to go across, one big one, one small one. So I ain't going to worry too much about those. But, now I get to wander along by the river, enjoying the sounds of the river, and basically just having a good day. Right, my way back is that way. In many of my videos of past, I've mentioned with my silky saw that I broke one blade, and it's because I was very tired. It was this tree. I cut it, it was there, it was dead, leaning right over. So I cut it out, and that tree stump right there is the one I broke my saw blade in. Yes, many years ago. My old bench is still over there. There's a rock on the ground. That was my old bench, and I was this is where I was camping. I was almost struck by lightning twice. I was camping down in here, and the top of the bank off to my left got hit twice, and it was just, it wasn't a bang, it was just an almighty crack, and everything shook, and it was just crazy. And I just said to myself, if that was close, bang, did it again. And I thought, holy crap, I need to get out of here. But it was pitch black, middle of the night, no way I could get out of here, and you'll see why in a bit. Not safe to do that at night. And then hey presto, I ended up having to stay here overnight in the middle of a bloody great storm. So this is the tree, this is the legendary tree that I broke a saw blade on. This one, yeah. Right, I will continue on my way. This is a nice spot down in here, eh? Now, it's fairly easy to get across this river too. There's one deep bit in the middle, but there's loads of places you can cross it that are reasonably shallow. And this time of the year is not too bad. The white water up around that corner, I wouldn't cross there. There's some really big boulders in there that were all hoofed up in the floods. But basically all the way back along here, this is actually a really nice walk along here. So that is exactly what I will do. Wander along. This is what you've got to watch out for, see the berries. Yeah. I can't eat them, but they're fuzzy friends with the murder mittens love them. So yeah, good idea to keep your wits about you. Yeah. That's why that other piece, that's why I put the camera away on that other piece, because there's a bit of a pinch point. It was very tight, and any wildlife that was coming through there was going to be using exactly the same path that I was using. So I will put this away for a bit until I get further up. So look at all the berries down in here. Loads on. We've got a profusion of berries this year because it was very, very wet. What I'm looking for is berry bushes that have been grazed on. Yeah. Those are the ones you've got to look out for. Berry bushes that have all their berries missing and most of their leaves chewed up. That's what you're looking for. Yeah. And so far, I haven't seen any. So that is rather nice. But I love the sound of that river. That's one thing I absolutely love about this trail. Firstly, you hardly ever see anybody on it. Now I've said that, there'll be 50,000 people. But you also get to walk along the river. And now I'm doing this one anti-clockwise. I have to say, the route that I've just done is way better anti-clockwise. So you see we had no bears along here. Look. No self-respecting bear would have left that lot behind. Yeah. And there's berry bushes all the way along here. So I'm just going to put my camera away because I'm about to get right down next to the river and there's a lot of noise and bears might not hear me coming. Right, off I go. It is lunch o'clock at the campsite. I've seen a lot of horse track in here in the past. Somebody's been here recently. There's some fresh cut logs here. No sausage rock. There's 3 or 4 fresh cuts there. Yeah. There's a lot of deadfall in here that all got smashed up in the floods of the 2013 floods. So the campers have been out here cleaning all that up. Not a bad spot. No, sorry. There used to be a horse farm in here. Normally the horse people leave the twine and that in the trees. But you can't see any. Not a bad thing. You don't want to leave too much garbage around, but if they're coming back, they usually leave the twine and the hitching rails all set up. I don't see a hitching rail. Yeah. Used to be one. There's another site just down here, so they might have one down there. Not a bad spot, eh? Yep. Good water source. You ain't got to worry about a water source for your fire because there's a bloody great river right there. Good day for it, that's for sure. I don't think there's been a fire in there recently. Some wood's been cut recently, this year. That's this year's cuts. But nobody's had a fire in there, but look at charcoal's too broke up. Oh, that's nice and cool. Once you put your hat back on, that's nice and cool. See, somebody's been cutting up wood here. That's a fresh cut. Yeah. So who knows? Yeah. People do camp up in here. Those logs there, looks like somebody had a fire and they pulled them out just to save them. So who knows? Yeah. I don't like to leave partially burnt logs like that. You'll be surprised how much heat a log like that can hold inside. So you look at this, you don't know how much heat's inside that log. But that's old. Yeah. You don't know how much heat. These things, especially being pine logs that size, they can hold a lot of heat. So yeah, hasn't been a fire in there for a while, and it's pretty clean too. So I'll give them that. Yeah. There used to be another campsite just down through there as well. I don't know if that one's still there. I'll have a look in a moment. I do need to swap this battery out, I've just noticed. So let me do that. Earlier in the video I mentioned that when I was stuck out here in that storm, that middle of night, pitch black, would not have been a very good time for me to get the hell out of here. And the reason for that is this piece. I have to work my way all along these rocks and up through those trees roughly on the corner. And, I have heard rocks falling off this cliff up here before now. It is pretty crumbly. In the middle of a really heavy thunderstorm, I did not want to be coming across here. Nah, not my idea of fun. That mountain up there, that's Iperi Ipan. And this is the Elbow River. So yes, crossing that in the middle of the night, pitch black, in a severe thunderstorm, not a good plan. So I decided to stay put. So I still have to cross this, and where I'm heading is right over the other side of there. So I'm going to need both hands for this, so I will put this away until I get the other side. Right, that's the first rock slide taken care of. When the water's lower, you can actually walk along the bottom of the rocks. Failing that, you have to negotiate along the rock slide. But, so today, unfortunately, it was rock slide central. We need two hands for that. As much as it's good to film it and all that kind of good stuff, yeah, 3 points of contact all the way. Right, there is another small rock slide area up here, a bit further up, but this one's a lot smaller. That's the big one done. There is another one. This whole valley all the way down this side of where I'm walking is all pretty much like what you're seeing now. Rocks. I say this trail is not a painted highway, 6 lanes, yellow line down the middle kind of trail. This is a trail that's kind of has a bit of bushwhacky trail finding, navigation, steep uphill, steep downhill, rocks, water, you name it, it's got it. But it's also an incredibly nice trail. It really is. Yeah, it's not one that's used by a lot of people for exactly this reason. It is very rocky. Not really somewhere, unless you've got really adventurous kids. It's not really a place for your average everyday city kid, but for your get out of town people, it's good. Now, anybody that saw my original Ohuhu stove video will recognise this place. Hey, somebody built a new bench. Yeah. Looks like somebody was camping here. Left some bloody garbage behind too. Look at this crap. Like, really, people? What are you leaving this shit behind for? Holy crap. Why do people do that? That's just ignorant. Yeah. Yes, this is where I filmed my original Ohuhu stove one. You're not actually allowed to camp here. This is not a camping spot. You've got to be a lot further down that way. You cannot camp here. People do, but then parks get all over your case, so not somewhere you're actually allowed to camp. But as you can see, people do. I don't have a garbage bag with me. I wish I did. Damn. But, there's clothing here and everything. Look at this crap. Like, really, people? What the hell? Well, I've got to go a considerable distance, so I'm not carrying all this crap out of here. I will make a note of where it is. and before the end of the year I will come back in here and clear all this out. Yeah, come on people, for Christ's sake. Yeah. You know, this is the kind of crap that really gets on my nerves. I wish I brought a bloody bag with me now. But it's about 2 kilometres back that way and I'm going to need both hands. Crap, should have brought a bag. Okay, let me see if I can jerry rig something. Well, that's the best I can do with limited resources. I've now got to carry this crap for about 2 kilometres to get out of here. But not happy about that. And bring it with you, take it back. Bloody ignorant, that is. Right, so now somebody else, i.e. me, has to carry your crap out of here. So, don't do it. If you watch this video and it's your crap, make sure you don't contact me. Because you'll be coming back to your express delivery. Yeah. Right, when I go, crap and all. So, this is the next rock slide. That one's up in there, we've got to cross that in a minute. But, people do that. That's really annoying. People are just stupid, they're ignorant peasants, absolute peasants. Right, so I will continue on my way back that way. Now I've cleaned up that mess. There's all kinds of tin foil in there and bits of bloody paper and wrappers and Christ knows what. But I do have my bucket in the car, so I can dump all that, and hopefully I won't find any more when I go. Right, this is the next rock slide that you have to go across. This is just a little one. This one has a lot more loose rock on it. The other one is great big rocks that don't tend to move. If you're likely to twist your ankle or whatever, it'll be on this one. Because this one, there's a lot of small rock and a lot of loose rock. So again, 3 points of contact all the way across, and I'll do some more when I get over the other side. Well, I'm back to my bridge. This side log was a little wobbly, but the other two were still in there nice and tight, so I've just added a new bit of binding across here. That's nice and tight now. Anyway, that's good. Yeah, the bridge has done well. 14 foot isn't a great deal, however, crossing that without it, pain in the arse. Those rocks in there are incredibly slippery, and where people used to cross was down the bottom here, literally hopping across onto those rocks, and they are slippery as hell, and they're all angled too. So yeah, so occasionally I do build these bridges in places, but I'd like to build a decent bridge there. I did offer to build a proper bridge, like get some pressure treated 6x6s and what have you, and build a proper bridge across there, but I don't think the powers that be really had much interest in me doing that. There was so much paperwork and bullshit, you wouldn't believe it. So bunch of logs it is. Yeah, works an absolute treat. Been there many years now, 3-4 years I guess. So still works a treat, makes it easier, way better than wet feet. Right, I think I will use that as my closeout shot. Thank you for coming along. There's some garbage at the top of the hill here I want to clean up. I did notice when I came down in here. But right, thank you for coming along.